In this video today, I want to talk about how to prevent getting a parasite infection and how to clean and wash your food, which is one of the main ways to get a parasite infection. But then first, in order to understand how to prevent it, we need to know our enemy, where they are coming from. So basically, we have there are different type of parasites, which is the protozoa, is microscopic, we cannot see it, and is able to, it multiplies in a human host, but can be also by itself. And then the main contact and the main way to get it is usually human contact, from human to human, and also from blood or feces. Then we have the helminths, which are the ones that have more than one cell, and we can see with our eye. Is usually the worms, like for example, tapeworms. And then there are the ectoparasites. The ectoparasites are usually the blood-sucking organisms, like for example, mosquitoes. And also organisms that are going to come bite you, and then they are going to release a parasite while they are biting you, like for example fleas or lice or mites. And it's why for people that suffers from Lyme's disease, it's usually very common to have in parallel as well a parasite infection with the Lyme's disease. So knowing which are the different type of parasites, which is the most common way to get them. So basically, usually, as I said, the human contact, blood, feces, contaminated food, or water. Like, for example, if you are a healthcare provider, you have to be really careful when you are taking care of material that is contaminated with feces, because a lot of parasites can go in there. Also, when we talk about food, it's important, for example, pork. Pork is known to be the most contaminated animal with parasites. We have protozoa, microscopic, like Toxoplasma gondii, or for example, worms, like for example, the trichinella or the tenia. So those are really, really common. So eating pork usually increases the risk and the chance of getting parasites. Also, if you eat raw food or undercooked food, and why is that? Is because the people that are providing that food to you or where you bought it, maybe they don't wash their hands after they go to the bathroom, or they have a cut in their finger. So it's very easy that some parasites go from them into that food, and if you don't cook it, if you eat it raw or undercooked, you have a high chance of getting contamination. Then from water that is coming from tap water, or also you are swimming in a lake or a pond where the water is stuck, that is also a high chance of getting contamination. Pets are really, people with pets have usually a parasite contamination. They tend to be contagious by just contact, or also if they have lice or mites or any fleas in there also that have a parasite, that is a way for you to get it from pets. Also the soil, for like microscopic or worms, very easy to get it from the soil. You are eating vegetables from a soil that is contaminated, it's really easy. Or also blood transfusions, because believe it or not, the blood is not tested for all type of parasites. So when you are getting a blood transfusion, you have also a high chance of getting contamination. So usually there is more people more susceptible to parasite infections than others. So there are two main factors important for that. One is your immune system, people that are immune compromised, and the other one is the diet. So the immune system are the soldiers that we have in our body to fight anything, and that is including viruses, bacteria, parasites, anything coming from outside. So if you are immune compromised, then your immune system is low, is not able to fight. People with autoimmune conditions, diabetes, any disorder related to inflammation is immune compromise. If you suffer from leaky gut or gastrointestinal permeability and inflammation, your immune system is too busy fighting in there, so it's not able to fight anything coming from outside. So people that are immune compromised have a higher risk of getting it. So what is important is always to keep a strong immune system. And then processed food and high carbohydrate food not just immune suppress your body, but also is an amazing food to feed a parasite. If you do have parasites or opportunistic microbes overgrowth, then processed food is feeding it. And if it's really high in carbohydrates, even more. They are making a party every time you are putting a carbohydrate in your digestive system. So those are the different ways that we can get the parasites and who is more susceptible to them. But then how we can prevent them and from being ingested or from entering in our body. So mostly I'm gonna talk about the ones that are coming from the food and the water. So I do recommend everybody to have a filter water at home. All water that we drink, we use for cooking, or we use for washing our food has to be filtered, because in tap water, a lot of parasites could come. So if you have a house, I recommend to put the filter in the general entrance of the water that goes for everywhere in your house, your shower, your laundry, your sink, everywhere. Otherwise, you can get osmosis, reverse osmosis that you can put at the sink of your kitchen. That is one of the best. Or if you cannot afford that, other ones are charcoal based. That is also very good. It's getting rid of 99% of everything. You put it in the faucet of your kitchen, unless you have a fancy faucet. With fancy faucets, you cannot put that filter. But that is a really good way to switch between the water that you use for washing your dishes and the one that you use for drinking or for washing your food or cooking. So that is one of the ways. Then the other one, let's talk about meat. When we talk about meat, what is important is that you cook it. From pork, I would recommend you to be away from pork, but if you want to eat it, you really have to cook it through. The same for beef or other meat, I recommend to really cook it through to prevent any parasites. And if you know the farmer, is always better organic, pasture raised, but organic, clean. So always knowing your farmer is also a positive point for that when we talk about preventing parasites, how clean they have the animals and what do they do with them. That is important. Then talking about undercooked foods or even salads, I do recommend to avoid getting any raw food on restaurants and salad bars, because we don't know how that food has been handled. As we said before, if the person has a cat or didn't wash their hands after coming from the bathroom, then if it's contaminated with parasites, can go on your food. So don't order undercooked or raw food on a restaurant and salad bars. And actually, salad bars are the most dangerous because it's exposed. It's completely exposed. So it's exposed to a lot of people that go through that area the entire day at the store. So if they are contaminated and they take the spoon and then they put it back, you have a high chance of getting parasite infection as well from that. And then talking about salads, when you buy a package of that spring mix or spinach, any of those vegetables that says wash already 3 times or pre-wash, I do recommend that you wash it, because you can still have a chance of getting parasites. And one of my best friends, my school friends, he ate one of those salads that are supposed to be clean, and he got a parasite infection and got a testicle removed. It was really, really severe infection. So it's not a joke. Even if it says pre-wash, try to wash them yourself. And then fresh product in general. And if you eat them organic, because you try to avoid pesticides, you have even a higher chance of getting parasites infection. So ideally, you want to go organic to prevent the pesticides. However, in the soil, as I said, there are a lot of worms or even protozoa, which are microscopic, so we cannot really see them. But it doesn't mean you're going to stop eating vegetables or fruits, because that is one of the main parts on your meals, right? We want to see 50 to 75% of our plate vegetables. So then I want to show you today how we can clean our food to prevent, clean from microbes, not just from parasites. Also, you have any bacteria in there. How we are going to clean our food before we are going to eat it or after you bring it from the store. But if you clean it days before you plan to cook it, probably it's going to last less in the refrigerator. Okay, so let me turn the camera around and then show you how we are going to make this. So actually here we have first what we are going to use. So what we are going to use is just three things. So we are going to need water, then we are going to need a brush to clean our vegetables, and you can use a toothbrush. If you don't have a brush like this, you can use a toothbrush. It's also fine. Then we are going to use a little bit of soap, but don't use chemical-based soap, because that is going to add more chemicals to your food. So use just the plain Castile soap. Castile soap, you can buy it with different smells. I personally like citrus or tea tree, because citrus and tea tree essential oils have antimicrobial properties by itself. So this is citrus castor oil. Then with the main ingredient that is antimicrobial is vinegar. And this is not raw apple cider vinegar with the mother. This is the cheap vinegar, white vinegar that you don't want to ingest, but you can use for cleaning. So this is the regular white, or you can use apple cider. So, but filter. Okay, so this is how we are gonna clean our food. Let me bring you closer. Or maybe like this, you can see. So basically here we have all kind of different type of foods that we have cleaned. We have green leafies, celery, we have roots, we have even turmeric in here if you want to use it with the skin. This is an organic turmeric, so I'm going to wash it well. Carrots, zucchini, fruits like apples as well, lemon, lime, all of the fruits, you can clean them like that. I will show you how to clean berries because they are a little bit more delicate. So basically what I do, I have my filtered water here, and then I'm going to take the vinegar, and I'm going to put a splash. You don't need to put too much, just maybe a couple of splashes like this. And I'm going to mix it. And what we want to get is an acidic solution, which is antimicrobial. So what I do is that I leave it soaking like this for 20 minutes, And then after 20 minutes that has been soaking, what I do, I take the brush, and then I'm gonna put it in the water, and I'm gonna add just a little bit of the soap, and I'm just gonna go through. So you see it's getting bubbly, and don't worry, I know it's soap, but it's okay. This is a clean soap. It's not gonna taste like soap, but it's important that you go through all of them after the 20 minutes. And even if you soak them in vinegar, it's not gonna taste like vinegar. Okay, we're gonna rinse it after, but we will do it with every single vegetable, because mostly root vegetables actually that they have, like this for example, or this root like turmeric, they have a higher chance because there are spaces in between to get parasite eggs, but also E. coli, which causes a lot of issues as well. So that's the same for our lemon, our apples, any fruit. So we will just go through everything. And then the green leafies is not a must to go with the brush, but you know, these green leafies are always folding, so sometimes we cannot get to everything. So with this one or with the toothbrush that is smaller and maybe a little more delicate, but we can just go through everything. So there's no way anything stays in there, so we will do it with everything. We rinse. So remember, we first had it for 20 minutes with vinegar. Then after I go with the soap all over, and then we rinse them. So we rinse them always with filtered water, okay? We will rinse them. We rinse everything through. Be sure nothing stays, and not even soap. And then after we rinse them, look how clean now is this carrot. I love it. Actually, I didn't clean the turmeric, but I will do the same thing with the soap. I will go all over and then rinse it. And then basically what we will do, we just take paper towels. You put them in your countertop on top of the paper towels to release all the water. And that's how we will finish cleaning them. Then let's talk about the last group of foods that they don't need to be rinsed like this. So another way to clean your green leafies is like this. Or fruits like strawberries or blueberries that are a little bit softer, so you cannot really brush them. So basically what we do, I have a bowl and I have lettuce, for example, but you can do it with the kale like that too. But this is a very good way to do it. You already cut it in how big you want the pieces. And then the strawberries, you can have them with the green on or just cut it before. The same for your blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. So I have them on top of a bowl already with filtered water. And I'm just gonna take the vinegar. I'm gonna add the splash there. And don't worry, the berries are not gonna taste like vinegar. And then you wanna soak them for 5 to 10 minutes. After 5 to 10 minutes, we remove the water. We refill with extra new water, like that. We will rinse a little bit. And then we put them back and we add vinegar again. The same for the berries. We remove this water after 5 minutes. We add extra water. You want to rinse the berries a little bit. We add a new splash of vinegar. And we will leave it soaking for another extra 5 minutes one more time. And we repeat this for a total of 3 times. It's the same way you buy lettuce that says 3 times wash, but actually you still need to wash them. But this is what we do. You soak them in water with vinegar for 5 minutes 3 times and exchange the water every time. Okay, so this is what we will do with green leafies, and then how we clean meat, because that is the other one important. How we clean meat. And I will talk about fish in another training. But then how we clean meat, and this goes for any type of meat that you get, but chicken usually is one of the most contaminated with microbes as well, coming from the facility, even if it's organic. This is organic, pasture-raised, free-range chickens, but it still is important to clean them. So what I did, I put the chicken wings in filtered water, and the same thing. I'm just gonna add a big splash of vinegar. I move it around, and I will leave it soaking for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, I just remove the water, and then I will just rinse one by one to be sure nothing is left. You can do it with your hands. If you want to use the brush, that's fine. So 20 minutes soaking on vinegar, and then rinse. And after, you can just pat dry with a paper towel, and they're ready to cook. And cook them through to eliminate any other microbes that may stay after that. So how simple is to clean your food to prevent any parasite? Very simple, right? So I just wanted to bring you to my kitchen today because parasites are everywhere. Even if we don't see them, they're also microscopic. So it's very, very important to eliminate them before we are gonna ingest that food, because otherwise we always are at high risk of getting parasites. So I hope that you enjoy this and you are gonna start just getting those 3 things that you need to clean your parasite, which is the vinegar, the cheap vinegar, white vinegar, the castile soap, I like lemon or tea tree, and then a brush. A toothbrush that you don't use for your mouth, you just use it for food, or a brush like this as well.